What's up, everybody? If you can hear me, go ahead and just say hi. I'm trying to figure out how I had this working. What's up, everybody? If you can hear me, go ahead and just say hi. I'm trying to figure out how I had this working. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to hear something now. Let me know if you don't. Um, oh, there we go. What is going on, humans? Yeah. You should be able to hear something now. Let me know if you don't. Long time no live. Getting back into what is going on? Getting back into the flow of things. I'm gonna be doing a lot of live streams for the next month. So I'm gonna be doing about three days a week, probably Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. So yeah, 3 days a week for the next, I don't know, 6 weeks or something like that. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more live streams coming up now. So hopefully everybody can jump in and say hi when we go live. So I'm gonna try to be pretty consistent with this. Yeah, so just post this link up everywhere for all the humans. Rami says he turned 40 today. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one. I hope you spent it with a lovely lady, or if you didn't today, then maybe tomorrow or the day before. I too will have a birthday in the summer. Yeah, this is a shisha. This is a shisha. It's just getting warmed up right now. Hopefully it'll work pretty well, because I can't really fix it right now. So how's everybody doing? It's been a good start to the summer. Rainy season's finally finished. Feels good. Feels good. Purple leggings makes the home Peter be a pussy palace. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so I just had corona for a couple weeks, so I just got over that. I was been locked in my house. It's been pretty boring, pretty isolated. So but finally just got over that and had a wonderful weekend. Went to the beach, went to Enoshima, and brought a bunch of girls and had a barbecue, and yeah, jumped on in limos, rode back to Tokyo in limos, and had just a good old time. I'm gonna start doing sort of a concierge service, which is essentially just, basically for guys who when the country starts opening up, for guys who want to, just meet girls and hang out with them and, um, do fun activities like boating, jet skis, or, barbecues and all sorts of, just have a good time in general. And yeah, just had the pleasure of meeting some guys who wanted to make that happen, wanted to make those kind of events happen. So start having those events more often. Pretty exciting stuff. A little bit of baller type game. Um, yeah, been doing a lot of club promoting recently as well. So working, at clubs, just bringing girls essentially. It's pretty cool. It's like because I in the past I'd only essentially gone to clubs as just like a normal person, stand in the crowd and talk to all the girls there. But it's been quite different now, doing promoting, because basically, like, obviously they hire me to bring a bunch of girls. So that's pretty interesting, because basically, like, now I'm just showing up to the club with a bunch of chicks as opposed to going there to meet girls, right? So that's cool. It's easy to invite girls out. Obviously, the club gives us a table, and we get bottles and everything. They're very nice. So it's pretty cool. It's a good time. It's a good time. I will say, though, that it is quite difficult, essentially. But with both of these activities, with the kind of the baller parties and concierge service, and also the club promotion, it is a massive pain in the ass hurting girls. Yeah. So basically, like, obviously it's me and one of my buddies, the main people were kind of hurting all these girls. But it's hard enough to deal with one chick and get her to show up on time for something like a date, and not flake when it's rainy or something like that. But when I'm talking about 15 girls and it's just me and one other guy trying to make sure everybody's getting enough attention, everybody's all that sort of stuff, it's just it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult. If girls are not getting talked to, they just want to leave. They just go home, or they'll wander off and end up in somebody else's VIP. And yeah, there we go. So yeah, I mean, essentially, it's just exponentially difficult the more girls that you have that you're trying to coordinate and get everybody there on time, make sure everybody's getting enough attention, having enough fun. It's the same thing when you have a party, like a home party. Obviously it helps if the balance is even, but obviously from the club's perspective, they want the table that I have to be basically full of just chicks, right? Because that's what looks the best for the club. Obviously, women are the currency of the nightclub. Do most of them lack a herd mentality? Well, I mean, they do have. I mean, they are. Yeah, it's a little difficult to corral them, especially if they're not all friends already. Basically, like these are a lot of these girls are now they're sort of starting to become friends together, because some of them will come out every week, every time. But yeah, like a lot of them are not actually are not friends yet, so they don't really you can't everybody's just connected through me, basically. Sometimes girls will come with one friend or two friends or something, but yeah, the difficult part is just like managing. Most guys can't can't talk to like 4 or 5 girls at the same time and make sure they're all entertained or bounce around between all the different conversations. It sounds great, but in reality, it's mostly just a pain in the ass. So that's what I've been working on. Doing a lot of these kind of nightlife type activities, promoting for the clubs, putting together really cool parties as well, and getting all that kind of stuff down. Yeah, but yeah, it feels good to finally be back from COVID. Time for a trim, bro. Yeah, I'll get a haircut pretty soon, probably next week, next 2 weeks. So how's everybody been doing with the lockdowns and everything? Obviously, things have not been, the traffic has not been where it once was. I've been gaming just the whole time through COVID. I haven't really noticed too much. Obviously, masks are difficult to to see girls. You can't really tell what their face looks like if they have a mask on. So you're playing the mask lottery a bit, and yeah, and yeah, that sort of thing. But I mean, for the most part, like I don't know, I haven't noticed too much difficulty, too much change. I still go out, I still do street, I still, approach chicks all the time, basically. Um, multiple days of the week. And I've been pretty excited about this ecosystem concept, essentially just making sure that all aspects of my life are pointing and working together and you know, um, working together so that have girls who are excited to be around and have a bunch of events, have cool things happening in my life all the time, so that it's really make it as easy as possible to get girls out, right? So this concept of the ecosystem is really kind of one thing I've been working on for the past year or so, and it really couldn't do it without some really good friends that I have going on. Some cool friends that I have that essentially are able to, number one, meet lots of girls themselves. Number two, obviously bring them out, and number three, entertain and just be cool with all the different chicks that come through, right? And I do think it's difficult. I don't think everybody can do it. Um, but obviously, like these are the people who have been at it the longest, at it for quite some time, and have a basic foundation in game and everything and abundance, that they're able and willing to bring girls out. And really, it starts with generosity. It starts with essentially having guys around that are interested and capable of, not only can they feed themselves, but they can feed other people too, right? That's kind of like that's kind of a great place to be at with games, where you're able to help other guys get laid, not just through what I do, like teaching or coaching or something like that, but being able to just invite more than enough girls, for example, for yourself, and introduce your friends to them and help them hook up as well. um and then making sure there's cool things happening in your life, there's cool people, and that you create, as I said, that ecosystem where it causes women to want to stay in your circle and get a lot of value and benefit from it. Yeah, and so all this stuff kind of feeds back to itself. We got the club, we got parties, got barbecues, got events, got guy friends, got girlfriends, and girls who bring other girls as well. Even have girls who kind of help escalate, right, or help bring girls back. Obviously, if you go to a club, you if you go to a club, you can essentially, if you have a girl who's down to pull with you, it's going to make it much easier, right? It's going to be much easier. can, can a Turk do a Tokyo 6 game? Oh man, I know who that is. That is Mr. Dorian Gray, trolling the chat here, like a legend. It is interesting. I do think that people, like different people from different parts of the world, have their own interesting kind of. They do tend to have similar hang-ups, right? Like Middle Eastern dudes usually tend to be quite aggressive, like really able to approach quite a bit, right? Guys that are from North America or the English speaking world, the Anglosphere, tend to be quite anxious and really trapped in their head a lot. Some types of Europeans, like French and Italian and all that, are often thinking about like sort of being a gentleman and the gentlemanly way of gaming and all that. It's just interesting how everybody has, you know, lots of different sort of the national predispositions and their own sort of sticking points. Asian dudes as well, like Asian dudes, East Asian dudes, you know, like you know, non-Japanese or even Japanese, but guys that come out from, you know, wherever it might be, like China or something like that, or Chinese Americans or something like that. They have such a bunch of yeah, they have a big advantage. Obviously, they're often a bit more timid and a little bit more hesitant about doing things, approaching from you know, a little bit more shy, of course, but if they can overcome that, they're obviously, you know, Asian, non-Japanese Asian foreigners is usually a pretty good starting race if you could choose. They yeah, they do have some advantages. Obviously, it's close. It's like a little bit different, but at the same time, there's that familiarity there that helps make it, you know, a bit easier for them to you know, to meet. The girls feel like they're getting a different experience, but at the same time, they're still somewhat in that Asian bubble. Miss Japan, things have opened up in Canada with everyone being vaccinated, but Japan is all still masked up. Yeah, Japan is all masked up. Yeah, it's cool. I've seen like a lot of videos of people in LA and stuff, just no masks, like full crowds of people. I guess everybody's all vaccinated and seems great. Yeah, I hope Japan gets back to that. Obviously, we got the Olympics coming up. I think they start in like 3 or 4 days or something. But yeah, I think there's a lockdown now as well. Like, it's weird. You don't even notice until you go into a store. And you know, I was at a pizza place Italian place with a date with a girl, and like, you know, I just like order a cocktail or something. They're like, oh, we don't, you know, serve. And I'm like, the hell. Crazy. I don't even understand really what the point of not serving alcohol is with a meal or something. Is it so people have, you know, you can eat, but do not have fun while you eat. Yeah, Japan girl like a Turk Eastern man. Yes, they definitely, they definitely do. Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. Like, I do find like I do meet some girls who, and I find out that their man is, they'll post pictures with some sort of kebab dude, and I'm like, damn, that bastard is smashing this girl that I was after. It does seem like Turkish guys have pretty good taste in women. Um, Rami says he's Middle Eastern, but from Toronto. Yeah, so you probably have more of the Toronto characteristics, the North American guilt. I don't know. You don't seem like that guilty of a person though. You're pretty happily smashing and pursuing the girls you're after, right? They were serving alcohol at Vushi Beach on Saturday. Yeah, they were serving it at Enoshima as well on Saturday as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna start doing some Q&A stuff. So guys, just if you have any questions, just go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'm gonna start going over them and answering everybody's questions. Getting after all these questions. Do you have any additional tips for what's a good house apartment for Nampa other than being close to the center? Yeah, I mean, I sort of see it as like you have kind of two options. Two options for getting a place that's good for game. Obviously, the first and best option is just a major station, like a station where there's pretty high traffic most of the time. But you know, Shibuya, Shinjuku, Roppongi, Ebisu, Ikebukuro, Shinagawa, something like that. Those would be the top choice. But the other way you could do it as well is live in a station that's close enough that the girl will come there for dates, but it's not going to be really the main place you do most of your approaching, right? So, you know, a little bit of a quieter place, maybe something like Shimokitazawa or Sangenjaya or something like that kind of place where you can, when you have a date, when you ask a girl out on a date, you can be like, hey, yeah, just come out to Sangenjaya or whatever, and we'll do the date here. So that's another way. You can go meet girls at places, at the major stations, get a bunch of numbers and set up dates back at your home station. Or of course, if you meet them out and they're ready for that, the same day kind of thing, then you can just bring them over, bring them to a hotel or a mega cafe or wherever you are at that major station. That's a beautiful thing about Japan is you're never at a shortage of logistics. You always have a place to take a girl. Like I said, there's hotels, there's karaoke, there's net cafes, there's pretty much everything. So you're never at a loss of places to take a chick to smash. Guilt is like a bag of bricks. All you got to do is put it down. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It helps if you're not raised in some sort of extreme religious background or something. Yeah, but overall, I haven't really felt like COVID has messed up my game too much. Like, I sort of, it's been quite good overall. Um, yeah. What about you guys? What about everybody? Is everybody dating as normal, or COVID messing y'all up? I feel like there's a stereotype that guys with blonde hair and blue-green eyes have an advantage going into Japan. What's your opinion on this? I mean, yeah, like there's a little bit, like obviously, like if you look like a Disney prince, like yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people do like Disney and that sort of thing. So if you have that kind of prince style look, then it's good, but it's by no means necessary. Kind of with all these things, with all these sort of like, you know, with all of these things that are like, if you were worrying about what, do they have an advantage or do you have a disadvantage or something, like if it's something you can't control, then like whatever, man. Like yeah, I guess like, for the most part you got to work with the hand that you're dealt. If it's something you can't control, there is some effect where like blonde hair and blue green eyes is in high demand just kind of in general, anywhere you go in the world. But I wouldn't say it's like that big of a difference really. Like if you have like black hair or brown eyes like me or something like that, like compared to, typical prince looking guy, I don't think it's really that big of a difference. Like I think you can overcome like the difference between your charisma, the level of your charisma and your solidness and your fundamentals is way more important and will make way more of a big difference than just some sort of superficial physical appearance. I broke quarantine 3 days ago. No dates in a year and a half. Kids have pre-existing conditions. Damn, dude, that is crazy. It's a year and a half, no dates. Wow. Yeah, that would drive me pretty crazy. Hopefully, I guess hopefully you have some girls that you can hit up that maybe don't qualify as dates or whatever, some regulars or something, girlfriend. Cause yeah, that would be crazy. No dates in a year and a half. I can't imagine that. I've basically not changed any of my habits, although I of course don't really live with any old people or at-risk people or anything. It's just mostly I don't have any family in Japan, so I don't really have anything to worry about in that way. Hem has me safely from blind. Glad I caught your live. Thanks, man. Welcome. Yeah, feel free to drop a question in the chat. I was last in Japan Q4 2019. Any new clubs or bars that are primed for pickup when you're not pulling girls off the street? I used to use Tasuichi Bar, Muse, Aoyama Tunnel. It's good pickup. Oh yeah, Aoyama Tunnel. Yeah. I mean, so the best clubs. If you like hip hop, the best clubs are probably C'est La Vie, One Oak, and A Life. Those three are still going strong. I haven't been to Muse in a long time. It's changed quite a bit. It used to be quite, foreigner friendly and easy to pull from. They used to say you can't lose at Muse. Tasuichi Bar, that place is okay. Yeah, it's usually a bit of a cock fest, and you do have cheap drinks and all that. yeah, people obviously go to Hub. I used to go to Hub a lot. I used to pull a lot from Hub, but I sort of stopped doing that. I don't know. I just do street pretty much exclusively now. But there's quite a few little good bars and places to meet chicks. I think those three clubs, One Oak, C'est La Vie, and A Life, are all pretty solid. Obviously, there's the more Japanese clubs, places like Atom, which is which will never die, basically. Atom, you got, Camelot and V2 and TK. And these kind of places are a little bit, I would say, like a little bit harder for foreigners than the first three I mentioned. But good, yeah, they got good chicks there. Mehmet lose it Muse. Oh man, you're cracking me up, bro. Mehmet lose it Muse. Yeah, Muse is cool. They do have a cool layout though. Like, I do miss that place, so maybe I'll check it out sometime soon again. Never been to C'est La Vie. Yeah, if you haven't been since 2019, it might not have even been open actually. It opened. It's in Shibuya now. It's on the rooftop. It's pretty cool. What visa do you have? I have a working visa. See if we can post some questions in the chat, everybody. Yeah, I've been really thinking a lot about like things that essentially like asserting a bit more control in my relationships, kind of increasing the demands. Um, Whereas in the past, I would just kind of essentially just like let things happen. It was very laissez-faire. Like, I wouldn't really ask her too much of her, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't, demand anything of her. But recently, I've been like playing around with just kind of asking more things, kind of asserting myself more, and so if it's a girl that I like, I'm dating a little bit longer, I'll be like, hey, like change your background to a picture of me, right? I'll send her a picture. I'll be like, here, change this, change your phone background to this, or something like that. Or I'll be like, and it's the key is to kind of start off, essentially with small things, like maybe your second date, you're like, oh, hey, could you bring this, to the date? Um, And yeah, Dorian Gray used to do this with like things like asking for a cake, for a girl to bring a cake or cookies or something to the second date or first date or whatever. Um, and yeah, it's kind of an extension of this, but just gradually like increasing the demands that you have over time, and um, it's kind of fun. It gets a lot of commitment from them. I've dated a lot of Thai girls, but I felt money was way too much of a factor in dating there. Are Japanese girls very different? Are they less interested in my wallet? Yeah, so I mean, obviously Thailand is not is a pretty somewhat poor country. So yeah, you do get this kind of factor where a lot of girls come from the countryside, places like Isan or something, and they essentially want to, they're looking for somebody to rescue them from their situation. So you get a lot of girls who are, hey, you pay money for boom boom, or whatever. And it is quite annoying. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I don't really like Thai. I like Thailand a lot. The country's great, but the girls, yeah, they're all right, but I much prefer Japanese girls. They're obviously coming from a little more of an even playing field, than, socially, economically in Japan. Obviously, the women are able to earn their own money and earn their living, and for the most part, I think it's quite rare for girls to be, super focused on your money. Obviously, like the very attractive girls, they're used to getting money from guys. They're used to going on free dates or getting free stuff from guys, presents or whatever it might be. But I don't think really like if you go out and you're just like let's split the bill. I don't think anybody's gonna be shocked and appalled. You will get the occasional girl who's like, "Well, I can't believe you made me pay" or something. But overall, I think for the most part, they're happy to just pay their own way. You even get a lot of girls who will just pay for you. Like I remember one of my exes, she was a Kaba, and her first date, she came, she just paid for everything. So it happens, you know. You get girls who will just pay for everything for you as well. But yeah, so in general, I think Japanese girls are not the same as Thai in the sense that they're not, most of the time, they're not expecting, you know, lots of money from you or whatever, anything like that. Which is nice, which is great, actually. Which is great. You get girls like, you know, girls who want to kind of take you out as well and buy you presents and that sort of thing. Do Japanese chicks like to be roasted? Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. So this is one thing that's kind of interesting. They do, yeah. So the kind of the way to roast, you obviously want to make sure it's good intentioned, right? And the way to think about roasting in Japan is like there's obviously the idea of tsukomi and the idea of boke, which is like, you know, manzai comedy routine where there's the guy who's like, you know, they call it the straight man or whatever, but the guy who kind of is like, there's one person in the comedy team who's like the idiot who's always misinterpreting things and always, you know, misunderstanding things, and then there's the other guy who's the you know, who's the stupid one essentially, like the boke as it were. So that's kind of like, you know, that's essentially like the pattern of those two, right? And that's kind of like how you can kind of balance it, how you can think of it. Is you want to put her in the position of the boke or the stupid person, the dumb person, essentially. So she's, you know, if she, you know, think of her as like kind of a high functioning retard or like a little child that can't really make her way in the world. So obviously, like if she says things that have a discrepancy between her words and her actions, or if she's, you know, says something stupid like, "Oh, is Turkey in South America?" or something, right? Yeah, you can definitely roast her on those kinds of things. Obviously, you can overdo it. You never want to be like mean or anything like that. You do definitely want to be able to, you know, make sure it's lighthearted, make sure it's fun. Do you expect the border will be open for foreign tourists after the Olympics? I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. I'm waiting for foreigners to be able to come back to Japan for, you know, multiple reasons. But yeah, like I want this country to be open again. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to do my own thing. So, and yeah, I think so. I mean, I think after the Olympics, you know, a lot of agendas will be satisfied, and you know, people hopefully will open the country back up. Yeah, I definitely do want that to happen. And you know, more and more people are getting vaccinated. I think essentially when people get vaccinated, they're going to be, you know, able to open the country back up. Tips on meeting J Nampa dudes. Main issue with COVID for me is not less girls, but less events to hang out with cool J dudes. They're not very receptive in the street, especially when you arrive to Japan with COVID out here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's tricky because like Japanese dudes are like quite kind of unreliable with the way that they game in regards to you, like in regards to dudes. Like sometimes I don't know. It's for me it's rare. I've tried to, you know, game with Japanese dudes, and for the most part they're just gonna basically instantly try to. If you're ever with a hot chick, they're gonna instantly try to get her, you know, get her number, meet her, throw you under the bus. Um, it's a bit dog eat dog in a way, and that's okay. Like I wouldn't get mad at these guys for it. I would just expect that, yeah, it's in their nature. Basically, they're gonna do log jam game like Japanese dudes. It's just kind of the way they do it for the most part. Like so, if there's three girls and you know, there's one that's clearly the most attractive, then they all just like they log jam into it. They all just try to yeah. They'll try to get the one fly girl, and I mean that's natural. But they might throw you under the bus if you're a gaijin. But yeah, there are definitely cool Japanese guy, and gaming with them will make you better, right? Um, because this, it's one thing to have like a gentlemanly bros before hoes kind of agreement where it's like, look, like the standard agreement is like, okay, the guy who approaches the girl or the set gets to pick, his target, right? And the other guy should support him, right? That's kind of like the standard way of doing things among gentlemen gamers. But it is good to train with guys who are just going to undercut you no matter what, because it will make you stronger, right? Obviously, like living in a harsh environment or something like that will, improve your game and your ability to hold your own, right? And if you live in a sort of a soft environment, wherever that may be, you are going to get overtaken by somebody who grew up in a harder environment, right? It's sort of like invasive species in the ecosystem, right? If you're like a weak native species that's had a cushy life, right? You're gonna some dude that came from some badass area is just gonna come like walk circles around you and take your chick, right? So it's good to go out with guys who don't give a fuck and who will kind of basically take your chick, because pretty soon, like, yeah, it might happen 5 times, 10 times, but eventually you're not going to let it happen, and you're going to be much better at holding her attention and asserting yourself in the interaction, and in a nice way, making sure the guy doesn't take your chick. So I do recommend that guys hang out with J dudes. Yeah, and they're usually pretty receptive. Yeah, in the street, maybe not, and probably some of the guys you maybe notice in the street are scouts, and those guys are actually doing a job, so they're not really necessarily interested in just gaming girls with you. But yeah, like obviously, if you go to bars or something like that, you'll meet some Japanese guys that at least will want to sort of string their carriage up with the gaijin dude. More often than not, they're just going to try to like use you as a decoy or something, or throw you. They think that by pairing up with a Japanese or with a foreigner, that the girls will, talk to you guys more because you have a foreigner in your team, and they'll just sort of try to use you rather functionally, but that's fine. There's not that many Japanese guys that I can say I've gamed with for a long time and still am close with. Overall, I just end up. I try, and sometimes there's cool ones, but overall, like, a lot of times I end up just gaming with my foreign friends, my homies. Shikiriki says, I think that when he said roasted, he meant pig fucked or Eiffel Tower in plain English. And, okay. Yeah, like a spit roast, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they do. They will do it. They will do it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Japanese girls are pretty open to group situations. We do have a lot of group sex. Whether that's usually it's like 2 girls, 2 guys, and like split up with one guy takes one girl, the other guy takes the other girl, and then later maybe switch or something like that, or 2 guys, 1 girl, to kind of take turns. Yeah, I don't usually do too much group things with everybody in the same room. I sort of like to just take my time with one girl and focus on her. So I don't really want like other naked dudes in the room with me so much. I mean, I've done it before, but it's a little bit harder to concentrate on what you're doing. So I prefer to just kind of, take turns rather than do some sort of spit roast or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's great. Like, Japanese girls are pretty open to that sort of thing, to kind of group sex. Like, obviously, like, they're not going to talk about it really, or they're not going to come forward and admit it necessarily, but they will be open to it for sure. I'm gonna start reviving my email list as well. I'm gonna start putting out some content on that, letting everybody know when I'm gonna be doing lives pretty regularly. I'm gonna be doing lives 3 times a week, maybe even more. We will see. I'm gonna get some guests set up, have some guests on the show, interview people, see what is good with that as well. So yeah, I want to just basically make this show a bit more more consistent, more regular, more exciting, and yeah, get back to making regular content, because I have just been enjoying my life and haven't been making too much content for the past couple of years. So I want to get back into making videos, really increase the sort of production quality of them. It's my first time back streaming. Did some streams in the past, but want to get a bit more professional. So, but probably by the next time I'm gonna go live again on a Wednesday. But probably by the next time I'll figure out how to make this look a little bit more professional, a little bit more cool with the whole. I mean, this background looks dope already. This purple, purple background, obviously. But yeah, we'll increase that a bit more. Also have a boot camp coming up with Dorian Gray. It's on the 30th, 31st, and 1st. So if anybody has yet to take a boot camp, make sure you should jump on that for sure. Either email me, synapse at attractionjapan.com, or if you're on the playbook, go ahead and send me a message there, or in the line chats. If somebody's not in any of the big line chats, make sure to get on board, get in those chats. It's a good way to talk about any sort of subject you might be interested in. Let's say someone is. Okay. Does your Japanese skills matter beyond JLPT N2 level? Do you notice better results in bootcamp students that focus a lot on their Japanese ability, or does it not matter that much? Yeah, you do want to be able to be conversational in Japanese if you're going to game in Japan. It does help a lot. But the difference between something like N2 and N1 or super fluent is not that big. Like, once you can get to pretty good conversational ability, I think you have enough Japanese as you need. I think you'd probably be fine just like that. If someone is N4 in Japanese but also has very little street experience, how would you advise he divides free time between Japanese study and hitting the streets? I would put it almost like 90% in hitting the streets, because it's good to speak Japanese, but the more fundamental, the more important skill is just actually meeting women. So, I would spend almost all of your time hitting the streets, meeting women. And then, obviously, like when you're on the train or whatever, and you can study and all that. Studying is good. Studying Japanese is good. But the other thing is, when you're doing street game, when you're out there practicing talking to girls, that is Japanese language practice, basically, right? So you will learn. That's kind of how I became so fluent with my conversation, is just by talking to girls on the street. So. Are there any Jews in Japan? I have no idea what that question is. Yeah, but definitely, kind of the answer is that you definitely have time to do both of those things, learn Japanese and game. But the one that I see a lot more people say, I'm going to focus on learning Japanese, and they neglect the game part, because it's harder to get yourself to game than to sit in front of some flashcards and feel like you're improving yourself, right? Yeah, like it's definitely easier to get yourself to study Japanese than it is to go out and talk to women, intimidating women in the street. So yeah. So if you have to choose between one or the other, then always just go for the approaching. How much would you say physical fitness matters in Japan pickup game? Do more muscles help or not really? With physical fitness, I mean, that's mostly about how you feel about yourself, right? So obviously, like if you feel like you don't like the way you look, I mean, you should improve yourself for that, like for yourself, right? Um, make sure you feel good in how you look. I don't think girls really care too much. Um, the exception, obviously if you are just quite fat or something, that's gonna detract from your game a bit, right? But sort of any sort of normalish body type, I don't think it matters. I don't think it helps that much to be like massively ripped or something, right? Um, as long as you fall within the basic range of a normal healthy body weight, I don't think it matters too much. Yeah, like of course, if you're going after really fit girls, like if you like really fit gym type girls, it does help to be a bit fit. But I don't think you need massive muscles. I would say that matters more in places like Australia or something like that, where yeah, if you're out and if it's hot and you're out on the beach all the time, then yeah, it does help to have muscles. But in Japan, I don't think it's that big of a issue really. As long as once again you're in a relatively normal range of weight, right? And even then, like, yeah, if even if you are fat, like, yeah, I mean, just you can overcome it with game, basically. Like, it's just charisma and talking to more girls. You're gonna meet plenty that find you attractive. Would you say that Nampa is an expensive activity? All the street time, dates, drinks, Netflix, net cafes, hotels must add up. Not really. I mean, yeah, sure. It costs some money, but you can do it quite cheaply, and I basically did it very cheaply for quite a long time. I would essentially just only take girls to reasonably priced places. I would get them to pay part of the bill or half the bill or whatever. Um, that's when I was going on a lot of dates. Just take them to a normal priced restaurant. You can probably have a decent date, decent meal for about 3,000 yen or something for the two of you, right? And you can split it. The most expensive thing, obviously, is as you're living. If you're gonna live, if you're gonna live in a downtown Japanese city, if you're gonna live in Shinjuku and Shibuya or whatever, then yeah, I mean, yeah. So that could add up. That could add up. And if you don't, then the hotels, yeah. Hotels will add up. If every time you sleep with a girl, you're taking her to a hotel, that will add up, yeah. But it only adds up if you're doing well for yourself. So, yeah. If you don't find it worth it, then you don't need to take the girl to the hotel. And there's cheaper places you can go too, right? Like I know some guys who smash in public parks, right? I know guys who go to karaoke and do it there, or net cafes. Net cafes are actually pretty cheap, right? So, but yeah, it does take a bit of money. But what hobby doesn't, right? What hobby doesn't take money? I guess like I don't know, playing video games maybe after you buy it once. Yeah, but overall, like most of my dates and my polls are pretty cheap. They're either I just meet the girl in the street and pull her back and stop at the convenience store for a couple drinks. That's maybe like less than $5, less than 500 yen. Yeah, 500 yen to sleep with a new girl. It's pretty reasonable. I guess the expensive part is the time. Yeah, the time can be expensive in the sense that yeah, it takes a while to improve. It takes a while to get on that learning curve and everything. But yeah, it's definitely worth it for me, in my opinion. Best city for game now? Are they still not living U.S. citizens? I do not think U.S. citizens can visit without a working visa at the moment. Yeah. Best city for game now? It's pretty much, Tokyo, Osaka, Fukuoka, Sapporo is pretty good. I think the main cities are just, you can't really go wrong with them. I'm 57 and way over 100 kilograms, no problems. Nice, man. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's great. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, that's great. It gives me hope for if I do ever get rather large. I would like, man. It would be great to do. I wish I could get a fat suit and actually game in it, because I think that would be hilarious, both hilarious and just amusing. Yeah. I see you in Japan right now. How's it been? Oh, Jeremy, what's up, man? Yo, long time, no see. Yeah, everything's been good, man. I mean, obviously Corona happened, but yeah, I think we'll get back to normal soon. Hopefully, you'll be able to come back and visit and check it out. The country misses you. Yeah. Yeah, going back to this expensive activity, in terms of the time, like, it definitely is addicting, right? So that's kind of the biggest thing, is like the amount of fun that you start having when you have unexpected interactions with 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 lots of people, with women everywhere. It gets addicting. Yeah, it does get addicting. So you do end up wanting to do it just more and more and more and more. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna plan out more of these live streams. Like I said, I'm gonna get some guests on. I'm gonna start to I'll structure the content a little bit more. This one I just wanted to, it's just a test run, getting back into the stream of things, the live stream of things. But I will structure some more content around the next streams. Currently thinking to do Monday, Wednesday, Sunday night at 11. So at this time, um, hopefully it's a good time for everybody. It seems like a good time for me. Yeah. But yeah, let me know if there's a time that you can make it easier to live stream. Just let me know. Drop that time in the chat. For me, it's a pretty good time. It still allows me to go out and game or do what I'm going to do, and then get back to the stream. Are hitters girls hooked to IG in the U.S. seeing lower return on girls have months on do online less? Yeah, yeah. So this is one thing. I mean, it's just a fact of life, is that dating apps are getting bigger. Getting more and more popular, essentially, right? I can't really speak to gaming, day game in the U.S. I haven't done it in the U.S. in quite a long time, but yeah, I mean, people, we live in an instant gratification culture, so you do have to be able to, to break through that. Yeah, I think maybe you mean hotter girls addicted to IG, and yeah, I think they are, but it's still better to, yeah, and I do see sometimes that, yeah, girls get that instant gratification online. They might be less likely to respond during day game. It's a shame that like, yeah, the online dating, Instagram gratification does take people away from meeting people, where they have this self-inflated sense of worth because of their followers, and because it's easy to get that salt harvest from people online. But I do think that there's like, that the best way is to meet people is still just rocking up to them and saying hi, and cold approach, right? So I've dabbled a bit in online game, and I don't particularly find it exciting or valuable, really. But do you go to catch girls in universities or too young? Yeah, sometimes. So they have these cultural fairs, these like Japanese like university festivals that sometimes I'll go to. Yeah, I like those kind of. I definitely like girls that are 18, 19, 20. yeah, you can kind of chill in universities as well and just, meet chicks there. Yeah. I wish I could like join some clubs or something in them as well. That'd be fun. But yeah, I mean, cold approach is just the ultimate equalizer, right? Like, it doesn't matter what your appearance is necessarily. Obviously, it helps to look good, whether that's with your, fashion and fitness or whatever. But overall, you're pretty much able to just like overcome any sort of handicap you might have or any sort of thing you might have by overcoming it with just being bold, just being direct, just being open, talking to girls in the street, hitting them up wherever they're at, right? So yeah, it's like you could be dude 1 out of 10,000 on her IG or on her, Bumble or whatever that's hitting her up, or you could be dude maybe 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10 that's talked to her, that day, or you know that it's much easier to get through signal through the noise like that than it is on online dating, which is it's just like a online dating is just like a it's like a cheap it's so cheap basically, right? It's like spammy, right? Any asshole can just like hit up a girl on Bumble, right? But takes courage, takes balls, takes self-love and belief and effort to actually go talk to a girl in the street, right? So, and that will always be appreciated by the girl. It may not be something she was looking for that day, and she might not even know you existed, or she might not, even usually talk to a guy like you. But that's the other advantage, right? A lot of the girls that I like are girls who don't even like, foreigners, right? So, if I wait to find them on an app or something, they're never going to respond, because they're not into me, right? The few girls I hooked up with in Japan some years ago didn't seem to take condoms serious at all. Is that to be expected? Kind of threw me off. Yeah, I mean, definitely it is. The sex education here is pretty bad in all of Asia, really. In all of Asia, it's not great. People they just hit it raw. I mean, but it feels good. So yeah, it feels good. I don't think Japanese girls are very very serious about condoms. Yeah. So I mean, it's up to you. It's just take whatever personal risk you want to, right? If you want to, then yeah, hit it raw. But if you don't, then don't. It's sort of up to you. Obviously, as the dude, you basically have control over that situation. You can use the condom or not. Best practice, obviously, using a condom. But for the most part, most STDs are relatively easily curable for just like 1,000 yen or something. You can get the medicine. Modern Life Dating. What up, dude? What up? I had your stream finished. Good to see you here. I'll make you a moderator. Why is Fukuoka so good for gaming? What do you say the differences between Fukuoka and Tokyo girls? So Fukuoka, the cool thing about Fukuoka is, first of all, there's about like 65% women just in the city in general, right? So right off the bat, there's just like a lot more girls than guys in Fukuoka. On top of that, there's a lot of just young girls, right? There's a lot of young, university age girls. So on top of that, there's not as many foreigners, right? So you're a little bit more unique. You stand out a little bit more, and it's great. And they're just beautiful. They're beautiful girls, sweet, nice girls. In Tokyo, you get like a little bit kind of more princessy, a little bit more bitchy girls, a little bit more cold girls. But man, yeah, if you ever get the chance to go game in Fukuoka, I highly recommend it. There's this island in the middle of the city called Nakasu. It's like in the middle of a river, and it has just packed with stunning girls. If you stand there on the street at like 6 p.m., 7 p.m., you'll see just like herds of girls with like heels and long, beautiful hair sets and beautiful dresses, just walking down from every direction. Like it's almost like a like a natural spectacle. You know, it's like the Serengeti, the wildebeests, like migration or something, right? It's a you could get David Attenborough narrating the the in the Nakasu wilderness, the savannas, the creatures march forth to their work, and yeah, it's great. You can hear the mating calls of the young Nampa man. Yeah, Fukuoka was great. Fukuoka was amazing, so I highly recommend it. Smash the like button. Yes, indeed. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit it up. Hit it up. Hit it up. Is underage drinking common in Japan? I'm 19. I want to go clubbing in Tokyo. Yeah, you probably, if you're a dude and you're 19, you're probably going to have a hard time getting into the clubs. Underage drinking, however, is definitely common. Yeah. Nobody's going to deny you a drink at a establishment, but getting into clubs is going to be a bit difficult. Yeah. Honestly, like, yeah, you can find more than enough girls on the street. You don't really need to go into the clubs if you can't get in. I wouldn't be too bummed out about it. There'll be plenty of time to go clubbing when you're in your 20s, and it's fun, but you don't really need to do it as well. There's plenty of girls on the street. Just hit them up, and yeah, you can drink with them in a convenience store or a normal izakaya or something, restaurant. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to be back on Wednesday night, 11 p.m., and then again on Sunday, 11 p.m. I'm going to polish up the stream, make things look a little bit more professional here. I'll come next time with a topic. So we're gonna do these regularly, 3 times a week. Who knows? Maybe I might even do more. We'll see. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. Go ahead and drop a like in on the video. And if you haven't already, go ahead and join up on the email list. I'm going to start using it a bunch more. So I'm going to use the email list a lot more. I'm going to send out some cool stuff to you guys, more content, that sort of thing. So if you're not on the email list, go ahead and do that. You can find the email list on the website, tractionjapan.com. Go ahead and drop your email into it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 days, Wednesday night, 11 p.m. See you guys there. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for tuning in. See you guys on Wednesday. Peace.